Next, let's briefly discuss the topic of substituting values. Now, we've been doing this every time we check our work on solving for x. We solve the equation, we have a value of x. If we want to check our work, what we're doing is just taking that value of x and putting it back in the equation anywhere we see an x. And that's all this is. It's just, like I say, just to get comfortable with this, because when we use equations, that's what we're doing, is putting a number in place of a variable or something like this. Like I say, in the rest of this course though, I'll often be writing equations with just letters representing the variables, but I don't mind if you write whole words. If I put, P for profit, but you just want to write out profit, that's fine. Just sometimes takes a moment longer to write out the words, but for this one, there's no words, it's just x's. This one actually does have a physical meaning, and I'll talk about that in a second, just so you know. But here we have the value. So what is this expression equal to if x is equal to -3? So let's put -3 into each place. We have a 3 times x squared minus 7x minus 4. So this thing is equal to 3. Notice it's not an equation either, so we're just figuring out what is the value of that expression if we put something in for x. So that's 3 times bracket -3 bracket squared, because the value of x is -3, so we want that whole number actually being squared because of the exponent, because that'll affect the answer significantly, the sign. So that's minus 7 times bracket -3. It's just handy to put it in brackets everywhere, because then you're making sure you retain the signage of the number since it's not a positive number. And minus 4 at the end. So what have we got? So that's 3 times, well, -3 squared is positive 9. And I'll leave this minus 7 times bracket -3 and then minus 4, just to officially do the Bedmas sort of thing. We did the exponent first, now we're going to do all the multiplies. So 3 times 9 is 27. 7 times 3 is 21. A negative times a negative is a positive. So plus 21, and then minus 4 that's still on the end that we didn't touch. Final answer, 44. So if x is equal to -3, that expression is equal to 44. Hopefully not too crazy, not too complicated. Here we have an expression, bracket 1 plus I, bracket, to the power of m minus 1. And we do this for I is equal to 0.05 and m is equal to 4. Let's put those in and just see what happens, and I'll tell you why we're not just making things up. This comes up in Business Math 2 as well, in the second course that some of you might take. So this is equal to bracket 1 plus 0.05 bracket to the power of 4 and then minus 1. So that's 1.05 to the power of 4 minus 1, which is equal to 1.21550,625 minus 1, which is equal to 0.21550,0625, which is, if we have to round it, which is approximately equal to 0.22. For interest's sake, what does it mean? Remember how decimals can also be percentages? This is 5% interest compounded 4 times. So that might not mean too much to you, but what it's saying is, so if you have compound interest, you're getting interest paid into your account, and into your bank account, and then the next year you get interest on the original investment plus on the interest. So this is how amounts can build up quicker, because now you're getting interest on interest on interest. And what this is saying is a 5% interest rate is what you're earning each year for 4 years. And what does that actually earn you at the end of the day? It actually, because you're getting interest on the interest, you don't just earn 4 times 5, which is 20%. You actually end up earning a little bit more because of interest on the interest. You actually end up earning, well, if you turn that into a, if you turn this guy into a percentage, that'd be 21.55% over the course of the 4 years. So not just 20%, you'd earn that extra 1.5%. So, yeah, so it's neat. It actually has a physical meaning. But for our purposes, were you able to identify the numbers, put them in, and then solve the statement like you would with bedness? So we solved inside the brackets, then we did the exponent. The exponent was outside the bracket, but then we did that next, and then finally we subtracted. And feel free to skip steps. Like I say, at this point, I usually wouldn't bother writing this one separately from just going to the next line, because 1.21 minus 1 is just the 0.21. That's easy.